National Archives is responsible for collecting and preserving and making available the records of the country, the records that document our history and our heritage. And we're deeply appreciative of those who help us in our mission, especially the Mars Corporation.
Those of us at the Foundation for the National Archives work as the private partner with the National Archives to make those records available to the American people. It's a monumental mandate, and we welcome and celebrate all of those who are our partners.
The Mars family, I think, are deeply in love with this country and what this country stands for in all the right ways.
They have felt like this country has made it possible for them to develop a great, important company that is actually part of our American heritage now, and give back and help preserve the history and the culture of this country.
Leadership is the most important thing in anything that's done in this country or in the world. And Jackie has provided the leadership at the very top and the real, genuine interest in the arts.
What Jackie has done that's unusual is not just to give money to the Kennedy Center or to the Washington National Opera, but she's also chairman of the Washington National Opera. So she's spending a great deal of time and energy at a very important, pivotal moment in the history of the Washington National Opera, and truly leading that organization through a period of change.
We are known as probably the hardest art form to embrace just because we're so complicated. And so a lot of people have this concept that opera is not for them. Opera in the Outfield is the one event that attracts as many people pushing walkers as pushing strollers. You have people coming with their kids. The kids run around on the outfield grass. The parents put a blanket on the grass, drink a beer, eat a hot dog, and watch opera. Everybody comes, everybody has a great time.
It's Nats Park, and it's like Don Giovanni, so couldn't pass up on this opportunity. Yeah, I like it better out here. It's free, open, the kids get to run around.
We're here tonight so that our boys and girls can see the opera. It's the first exposure for many of us.
Thank you, Mars! Thank you, Mars! Thank you, Mars!
The beauty about doing opera in the outfield on the scoreboard here at Nationals Park is it's really for everybody.
The thing that I carry with me about how Jackie and how the Mars family comports themselves, for lack of a better term, is that it's never their name in front of the activity. Sequencing the cocoa genome is a good example where the chocolate business could have gone on without having a genome, but the genome helps guarantee our future. The cacao genome also illustrates how Mars thinks about what has to happen to build a sustainable future for the cocoa farmers. And uniquely, we gave it away and put it in the public domain so everyone would have access to it as opposed to controlling it. That's the choice that Mars has made intentionally. It's never a clamoring for adulation. It's never bright lights and neon. It's the fact they believe what they believe so deeply that they make their effort to support these things in many ways anonymous.
Everybody has an ego. I don't want to say, people are without egos. Everybody wants to be acknowledged for what they do, especially if they feel like they've worked hard. But Jackie has one of the most controlled egos I've ever seen. She doesn't really think it's about her. She thinks it's about what she's trying to accomplish. Jackie goes back 17 years with the National Sporting Library and Museum. The purpose, of course, is to collect and house our important sporting literature and sporting art for people to access and enjoy, both scholars and the general public. Our rare book collection has become famous. I would venture to say that we probably have the world's best rare book collection in the sporting literature field. Literally volumes that are one of a kind, that were handwritten and hand illustrated, that don't exist in other forms. We have every edition of The Complete Angler, which is a famous book on fishing and philosophy, which was first written back in the 17th century. This is our heritage. I mean, most of our early life and our early history was involved in equine life, all things related to horses, horse racing, and the breeding that went with that, our way of enjoying sport. That was really our way of life, our form of transportation, our work, our economy. The silver coach that we have on display in the museum is particularly associated with Jackie. She helped identify this wonderful piece, and it is literally a solid silver sculpture of the Vanderbilt's personal coach and four. Jackie has always been about preservation of this heritage as well as our entire American heritage.
In the case of the Smithsonian, we have these great collections, and we have these iconic objects that represent America. And so when you look at the Star-Spangled Banner, it's the real thing. And from that, you understand this connection to that period in our history where this country almost disappeared. And it's folks like the Mars family that gets that connection to these things. And so at the Smithsonian, because we are a very diverse institution, we have zoos and art museums and air and space museums. If you look around, you'll find Mars involvement in almost every one of the different areas that the Smithsonian represents. You won't find that with hardly any other entity that supports the Smithsonian.
I think what's unique about Mars's involvement is it's not just about the money, that they really want their associates, their employees to be engaged. I mean, in a significant way, it's not just the dollars, but it's actually the time and interest and insight.
One of the high points of our association with Mars was their participation and support of our What's Cooking Uncle Sam exhibit. They brought their staff with them to demonstrate the history of chocolate, to actually educate our users about the heritage around chocolate, and to share Mars chocolate with our visitors.
Jacqueline Mars has been so involved in the entire mission of the Washington Performing Arts Society. We have a three-part mission, which is nurturing new artists, which is presenting the excellence in performances, and of course in education for children and others. She certainly has been a big supporter of our education program, both the summer camps we do and the gospel choir, the children of the gospel choir, as well as the men and women of the gospel choir.
I don't know where I would be without WPAS. They've helped me grow so much in my vocal talent, and I honestly can say that if I didn't join WPAS, I wouldn't be at the level that I am right now.
I think it's appropriate for Jackie to get this award because of all she does for the cultural life, for the heritage of America. But also I think it's important that we recognize the most modest of our donors.
I can think of lots of wonderful words to describe Jackie Mars. From my perspective, the one that best describes her is thoughtful.
Smart.
Patriotic.
Determined.
Wonderful.
Powerful.
Extraordinary. She's an extraordinary person. It doesn't happen everywhere. And maybe it can't happen everywhere. But in the environment of Mars Incorporated, Jackie, John, and Forrest Mars allow us to work in a way that drives the future forward in a sustainable manner and demands of us that we solve problems and share it with the world.